Good morning and welcome back to Chi-Chi's Garage. And boy, am I deep in it today. So I am working on a little new Holland tractor that I've had for quite a while. I think it's got maybe 1,200 hours on it. So the issue that I had with this thing was it was making a popping noise, and it kind of sounded like it was coming from the rear end, which didn't make any sense because when you took it out of four-wheel drive, it went away. Well, these little new Holland tractors, this is a Boomer 35 2011, with these construction type tires. I mean, you could pee on the ground and get stuck unless you got four-wheel drive. So this thing pretty much runs in four-wheel drive all the time. So it started making a popping noise, and I thought, that ain't good. So I took it apart, jacked it up, took it apart, and I noticed that this gear right here on the front, I don't know if you can see that, that was bad. I gotta be real delicate because this stuff has just been pushed in there. So in order to replace that, I had to take the whole front end out. I have video of it, but nobody's gonna watch it. It's frustrating to watch it. So this is the short version. So anyway, my son helped me take it apart. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate you, brother, buddy, son. And we took it apart and pulled it out. What I did was I just took these out. You can take these. There's a circlip under here. And then there's a bolt that runs underneath here and holds that on. And this pops out, and this can just hang. So you gotta take your lines off and worry about bleeding these out or losing a bunch of fluid. This will just come off and come loose. And then you've got this piece here that goes right there. And then you've got this piece up front here that holds this. So, full disclosure, this is not the first time that I've had this thing apart. And probably why it did what it did. So, years ago, this part broke. Right here, it broke. Don't ask me how it broke, it just did. I mean, you know, you use stuff like it's a skid steer, and that's what happens. So anyway, shoot, my kids were little, so Raquel was probably maybe 13, and Tyler was just a little guy when that happened. And come to find out, New Holland actually superseded that part and made the next generation of that part a lot stronger. But that's really the only thing that gets greased. Like this thing here, this part here, there's no grease insert, and it floats just like this does. So the big issue that most guys are going to have with this is getting the bearings and the races out. The bearings come out, but it's the races. The races get stuck to the housing because of all the wear and tear. This collapses in on the races. And you got to heat it and have a big sledge bearing puller to get that thing out. And it's a fight. Dude, this is freaking 3 pairs of friggin' and a broke pair of these. Then you gotta make sure you don't want to scar this, because then it won't seal. Watch out, this thing could fly and hurt somebody.
Camera free.
That was a pain. Now let's see how this works. Got new bearings. This better make the turn, and it doesn't. Somebody explain to me how that's supposed to come out of there.
There's another ring in there.
Yeah, but this isn't gonna come through there because of this race. This is gonna be a freaking nightmare. And how do you get that out? I mean, don't have your pastor or minister around when you're trying to get this by yourself, because he'll have to pray you through. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a fight to get those races out of there, and even to get the circlips out was not fun. So if you don't have a lot of patience, don't have torches and tools and somebody to talk you off of the ledge when you're taking this thing apart, just take it to somebody that knows what the heck they're doing. Luckily, I had a guy that knew what he was doing, and I threw the whole front end in the back of the truck, and my buddy Craig, we call him Big Craig, he helped me sort through this, and man, what a wealth of information that I learned from him. Sometimes these older guys, I mean, he's done and seen it all multiple times. So he's telling me, well, if you just tap this and you knock this around, you can actually get the... I'm like, get the heck out of here. You're not just going to ting, ting, ting on that. And he was like, oh, it don't take a whole lot to move it around, you know, when you're... I thought he was on drugs. But he got that thing just with a little bit of heat and a little bit of ting, 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 ting with a hammer. He got the egg shape out of that housing. We still had to do a little bit of Dremel tool on the very end of the housing. So the housing goes like in here, and this floats on around the housing. So the end of that housing crushed a little bit. I mean, just a little bit, just enough that you were not going to get that race in. So we had to take a Dremel and just kind of clean up that outer lip and heat, and then add just a little bit of heat. He's like, you don't want to get hot, too hot. So I learned so much from him. Appreciate you, Big Craig, for helping me out with this. So we got it all together, and we're fixing to see if this thing's going to work. So my son wasn't around, so I fought, because you definitely didn't want to see me try to fight and get this whole thing under the tractor and set up like it is now. So here was the culprit. I don't know if you could see this in the camera or not. If I'm getting the sun, I don't know. But this coupler stripped. So this coupler joins the rear drive shaft to the spindle, and that's what turns this whole thing. So when I ordered all the gears, they were supposed to send me this, but for some reason they didn't. So this is the new one. Like, see how beefy those are? It's got a roll pin in the middle of it. So this thing slides in between those two gears, and completes the drive shaft. This is so you can take it apart and do maintenance on it or rebuild like I had to do. So anyway, so stay tuned. I'm going to set this up on the tripod, and hopefully I can metal my way through this. And if we did everything right in the front end with the what is that gear? The ring gear and the spindle, then we'll be back in business again, because Lynn has got dirt coming, and she wants me to gently drag the whole front yard and get all the rain ruts and all the abnormalities out of the ground, so she has a nice smooth ride when she cuts the grass. So that's what I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow. So I got to do my part and get this thing going. So stick with me. All right, so I got my new part here. This is gonna be, fall out. I think I got it. That is some nasty grease. Dude. Get some of that in your wife's hair and see how she responds. She won't like it. I'll show you what I'm doing here. So I've got this piece on. It's connecting the two drive shafts, and then this piece, it just slides, and then it bolts right there. That lined up, and then now you've got to line this up to those bolts. So hopefully I'm pretty close. What you got in? Cross Canadian ragweed's coming to town. You guys hear that? In 14 years they were broke up. I don't remember the drama behind it, but the band broke up. Cody Candace said they'd never get back together again. It was that bad of a breakup. But luckily for us, when bands break up, it's not like a divorce. Well, I guess some people would get back with their ex, but bands usually get back together because they need money. Or they just realize what they did was child and immature, and we make good music together. So anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, they're getting back together. Tell me your trouble, lonely girl. Have you got any? I think my favorite song is probably the Carney song. I'll sell hot dogs. Corn dogs? What's he say? How's that go? Hey, Carney man. Anybody ever worked at a carnival? I feel like my whole freaking life's a carnival. Man, I hope this works. And I ain't kidding one bit. This has been. Wow. This is supposed to be a fast. There it goes. That's too far. Get out there. Yeah, come on. Get. Clearance, clearance. Get the jazz That's not good. It works. See the wheel turning? Let's stress test it. All right, so that's it. It works. The old gal is back at it. I also want to give a shout out to my buddy Scott and Briar for letting me use their torch initially to take this thing apart. It's just a blessing to have friends. So don't be mean to people. You might need a hand someday. And when somebody gives you a hand, return the favor. Pay it forward, is what I'm saying. And I don't know what this would have cost. I think labor rates now are 100 to 120, depending on where you're at around here. But yeah, if somebody in a shop would have had to fight with that front end and do all the massaging that we had to do to get those races out and then back in, it would have easily been thousands of dollars. Probably 15 to 2. I think the parts were around 200-ish. I don't know. I'm not good with numbers. I can't remember my own birthday. But anyway, like I said, last time, believe it or not, my daughter helped me do this. So Raquel, you've seen this book before or read this book before. I don't know how they say it, but she was hands and elbows full of grease when we had to replace that front part. And we did that in gravel, so in the old barn. So it's nice to have a shop to work out of. But I break it, I fix it. So anyway, thanks for everybody that helped out with this little project. Now we got dirt bikes to work on. Stay tuned.